Greetings. So we're going to have a news of the day today because we're going to be on the plane tomorrow and all of that stuff. So I want to do a news of the day now. I waited till later in the day because I wanted to make sure that as much as could possibly come out has. And you'll notice there are now 2 cat trees right here for your viewing enjoyment. Both Bear and Shadow are right there. And that's because I had to get that cat tree out of the corner so I could actually have the Canucks posters all up and have that corner of the room set up for Canucks without worrying about Shadow. Shadow has a way of not pulling down posters. He rips them to pieces. I don't know what it is. He hasn't done it for a long time, but I didn't want to risk it. Have a cat tree right next to it, and he goes, I can scratch this. So there you go. Let's get into the news. Starting off with Pittsburgh, and this is what comes out during All-Star Weekend. You get interviews with players. Tristan Jarry asks about contract negotiations with the Penguins, and he says nothing to report for himself or Matt Murray, and he talks about how he and Matt Murray have a friendship that goes back to playing in the AHL together. They're good friends, and that tells you that, in all likelihood, if Pittsburgh tries to keep both guys together on reasonable contracts, it'll probably work out pretty well. So I thought it was nice of Jarry to, have a little discussion about that. And be honest, we haven't had any discussions about a contract extension, and I want to stay in Pittsburgh. Jason Zucker's been brought up in trade talks again. This is now just a routine thing. Last summer there were rumors that he was going to go to Vancouver and that they wanted Brock Besser back, to which I would assume Benning just hung up the phone. And so Zucker now is out there as a guy who may very well get traded at the deadline. And there are various teams that may very well be interested. We'll see if he moves. My guess is he's just going to stay there because that's going to be the annual thing. Where's Zucker not going to go this year? So we'll see. Per Pierre LeBrun, apparently the Montreal Canadiens, if things don't tighten up pretty quick here, they are willing to move all their UFAs who are potentially of value to other teams. And Tatar and Petrie they want to hold on to. So Jeff Petrie, they're quite happy with, and they don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. They think he's got a decent enough contract. They'd like to hold on to him into next season. So Montreal, things are going to be interesting with them through the deadline because currently they sit well back of a playoff spot. So they definitely want to change that narrative. The Ottawa Senators may very well end up moving Jean-Gabriel Pageau, but they want a shot at re-signing him first. So they want to sit down and talk to him. And have discussions on what he's looking for in a contract, which makes total sense. Pageau is a guy that you don't want to lose if you're the Ottawa Senators, and I totally get that because I don't know that you can necessarily replace him. You may get back 3 good players, but it may be that none of those 3 players do exactly what he does in the lineup. He can score, he can play defense, he can do a little bit of everything. So I understand why Ottawa would try to keep him on a reasonable cap hit, of course. An interesting story that's come out, kind of a feel-good story that's come out today. Jack Jablonski was hired by the LA Kings as a content coordinator working in podcasting, radio, and TV. He was paralyzed playing hockey. December 30th of 2011, he suffered a spinal cord injury when he was hit from behind into the boards, hit the boards head first, and sadly never played again. But now he is a member of the staff for the LA Kings. So good hire by the Kings. Apparently he interned with them while he was in college. He's graduated. He's got his degree. And they've hired him. So that's a feel-good story at a time when feel-good stories are greatly appreciated. So, I would imagine that this hopefully opens up the conversation about sledge hockey. Because sledge hockey is kind of a fun thing to watch, too. It looks brutal out there. Really does. I don't know. I don't know that that's something. At some point in time, I've got to try it, right? You kind of have to try it at some point. But so spinal cord injury, not a lot of fun. But the best thing is when you see somebody go through that and they overcome that and they come out of it with a pretty decent job. So congratulations to him on that. Player tracking will feature in the All-Star game. Now here's the thing. What they're showing us is that basically you'll have the game and it'll all be walled off, and you'll have player stats here and player stats underneath. All the comments on the Sportsnet link to that are, I got a big screen TV, so the game takes up 3/4 of it. I kind of have the same feeling. I have a 56-inch TV here. I really don't like the idea of having a quarter or a fifth of the screen taken up by stats. The way that this could work is if through the app, So through what we have on our most of us will have the NHL app on our phones. I have that. I have the Center Ice package. It's how I'm going to watch games while I'm in California. So I will be able to watch them while I'm in California. And I got extra battery packs. We have data while we're in the States. I'm good. And the idea that it should be optional. It should be sort of like when you hit your menu on your remote, right? Why did that word disappear? When you hit the menu on your remote and it shows you, okay, here's what's coming up. It should kind of be like that. There should be an option as to whether or not those stats are on the screen. So for people who are real stats nerds, they could keep those stats on the screen. And for people who just want to watch the game and not follow all of these stats all over the screen that could be distracting you from the game, that should be optional. So it's something they're going to iron out. Apparently, they're going to try to make sure this is in all 31 rinks by playoff time. Of course, this is the player tracking they've been talking about. You want to see me get into some advanced stat stuff, that'll do it. That will also affect the analytics community greatly. Not just because we'll have extra analytics to look at, like what speed everybody's going when they deliver hits, what speed they're going when they get the goals, but it means that for a lot of guys who are tracking this manually, they're not really going to be needed anymore. And then the problem's going to be when these trackers are tracking incorrectly. And when there's stats that come out and you go, I don't think that guy played 68 minutes last night in the first period. I don't think he did that. I don't know what this thing was tracking. So there's going to be bugs along the way. Can't wait till the first bug shows up. People go, see, the NHL doesn't know what they're doing. It's going to be fun. Lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. We'll be in the air. We arrive and I should be able to catch All-Star Game stuff. We'll see how much I'm able to catch tomorrow. No guarantees on that, but if we were going to take a trip, All-Star break, and this week is the perfect time to do it, and that's why we're timing it as we are. Also, January, it's usually rainy or chilly here and windy and just not pleasant, so go to California. Markstrom and the Canucks are apparently not close on a new contract, so I guess they've been having talks, but there's a lot of work to do, and we'll see whether or not the Canucks make it work. They can. Theoretically, they can. The question becomes one of, if they re-sign Markstrom, is Demko going to be happy as a backup, or is Demko going to say, okay, if you're keeping him as the starter for the next 3 or 4 years, I would like a chance to be a starter somewhere else. Demko is an excellent goaltender. If he wants to be a starter, there are a lot of teams that would call Vancouver about that. And if Vancouver feels like DiPietro's ready, I've mentioned this in recent videos as well, we'll see what happens. And Jake Muzzin, for Leafs fans who may feel like the playoffs have already slipped away or are slipping away. The good news is Jake Muzzin has been sent down to the AHL for conditioning. It happened yesterday, but I wasn't going to just do a video based on the stuff that happened yesterday. There wasn't a whole lot going on, obviously, with the NHL off and all. So, yeah, Muzzin's in the AHL for conditioning. That's good news. He should be back in the lineup once they come out of the All-Star break. And so we're starting to see some good news for Toronto. And they need that. Leafs fans need that. And we'll see how long Riley is out after the break. And rumors that they're in the market for a right-hand defenseman. Maybe they're calling the Flames about Brody. The thing is, the Flames aren't exactly in the mood right now to do a favor to Toronto. They're going to want something back in return. And that's where Kasperi Kapanen's name is going to continually come up. Although, reports again, through TSN Sportsnet I've seen, that the Leafs would rather not move Kapanen. They don't want to get rid of him, but at the same time they know they need to fix that blue line with Riley out. So we'll see what they do. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, we had the skills competition tonight. I'm not live streaming it. I may do a little bit of a review of who won what. And of course the women's 3-on-3 is going to be played as well. So we'll see how well received that is and what kind of highlights there are from that. And yeah, so stay tuned and stick around. And then tomorrow, it's a busy day for yours truly and the family upstairs, which is getting ready. And we'll see how that works out, because 3 hyper kids, hyper at the idea of leaving, motivating them to actually make sure they're fully packed. So we don't get to California and they'll go, oh, I forgot. And then everything comes out that they forgot. It's like, really, how did you not know? And we've gone through this on trips before, so we are well aware that this can happen. All right, you guys are all caught up. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And again, hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a thanks to Kevin Kearney, who I know comes out to meetups, Kirkland Zielinski, and Corey as well, on your continued support on Patreon. And challenge to those who I go back and forth with on Twitter, come on out to meetups. When we have meetups here locally, come on out, hang out. I do talk hockey. We go out for dinner after we talk hockey, and it's an enjoyable time. And of course, we have the meetup in California this week, 2 of them. The one on Saturday when we get there, tomorrow when we get there, and then the one on Wednesday before the Ducks game against Arizona. And so those are the meetups that are going on there. And then, of course, when we do get to Vegas, I should throw this in here, we'll be there from March 15th to 20th. We will do a meetup while we're there. We intend to go to the March 17th, the St. Patrick's Day game between Vegas and Dallas. I'll leave people in suspense as to which jersey I might wear to that game. And we will do meetup there. And then when we get back from the Vegas trip, I want to do a meetup locally right after that. So that would be kind of a warm-up for the Brody Hintz tournament, which is at the end of April. And again, people will be invited to that. We will get that up as soon as possible. I would think when we get back from California, we need to start working on that and getting that all set up. So, that being said, thanks again. I will likely do another little video on the skills competition, depending on what happens and what gets tracked and doesn't. And yeah, because they may bring out some of this player tracking stuff. We may see some of that tonight. I don't know how much. I don't know how in detail it'll get, so it'll be interesting. Thanks again. I will talk to you soon.